Fran McCaffrey got a few four-star recruits during his 15-year stint at Iowa. Could never really land the big fish like a Tyler Ulis or a Trace Jackson Davis. However, the most recent recruit that was highly regarded and committed to Fran, of course, decommitted when Fran got fired from Iowa, that young man has found a new destination, and it's a bit interesting. We'll talk about Joshua Lewis and his commitment to a mid-major program. Four-star top 75 kid in the country committing to a mid-major. We'll talk about it in just a moment. But first of all, a big thank you to all of you for being here. And thank you to all of you who have followed me on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Do me a favor. Follow us on TikTok. We just launched a TikTok page. Here it is. You can give us a follow and be one of the first to follow from the Hawkeye of the Storm on TikTok. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. We appreciate the work that's been put into launching the brand and launching the TikTok platform. Please give us a follow over on TikTok from the Hawkeye of the Storm on all platforms. So former Iowa men's basketball commit Joshua Lewis, a four-star 2025 kid, has committed to Louisiana-Lafayette. Interesting decision. Now, here's a young guy who decommitted from Fran McCaffrey not long after Fran got fired from Iowa, and we'd heard no rumblings or reason to believe that Ben McCollum was making a push to regain the commitment status of Lewis. It's interesting because Lewis, if you'll recall, visited Iowa during the season, committed during some tumultuous time during that Big Ten Conference season for Fran and company. And he had been a decommit of South Florida. He's actually from the area. He's from Tampa, and South Florida's right there in Tampa proper. But had decommitted from South Florida after their head coach tragically passed away, and it was a really unfortunate circumstance. But Fran was able to get Joshua Lewis to commit to Iowa, and he was locked in for, 1 to 2 months. And then with the coaching change, Joshua Lewis reopened his recruitment, decommitted from Iowa. And we'd really not heard a ton. I wasn't really locked in, I guess, to the Joshua Lewis recruitment. But I was surprised, really, when I saw this announcement here earlier today. Travis Branham, who's a national recruiting guy for 247 Sports, tweeting out that Joshua Lewis, four-star recruit who's considered to be a top 75 nationally by most recruiting services, had committed to the Raging Cajuns. He's from Blake High School in Tampa, Florida. And hey, it sounds like there's some good momentum, some good hype for Louisiana-Lafayette new head coach Quannas White. I know almost nothing about him other than this is his first real major job. It's his first Division I head coaching job. He spent some time at Houston as an associate head coach for Kelvin Sampson, who's a Hall of Fame head coach, of course. So maybe there's momentum here. My big reaction, the reason I wanted to cut this video is because I know there are going to be some people that flock to social media. I already saw a few comments out there ripping this kid for making this decision and basically denouncing Fran McCaffrey. This kid wasn't as good as we thought he was. So, good riddance. Good thing they didn't retain Fran to see how the 25 class was going to shape up. Yes, Joshua Lewis was part of the 25 class. There was excitement around that class. Isaiah Johnson Irigu, who came to Iowa after their head coach, Jim Larinaga, stepped down. He also transferred mid-season. So, yeah, Fran benefited from those two four-star recruits that had other homes and then left. But that's also the nature of college basketball nowadays. Recruiting guys that have a change of circumstances is part of the game. But let's not forget that Joshua Lewis had a bunch of high major interest. I mean, you're talking teams like Michigan State, Marquette, Illinois, Cincinnati, Bruce Pearl and Auburn, Florida State, Virginia Tech. We mentioned South Florida, Ole Miss, North Carolina State. I don't know that North Carolina State, that offer would have held with Will Wade now the head coach there. But you'd have to think that at least one or two of those high major programs would still have that offer on the table for Joshua Lewis. We're not that late in. I mean, obviously it's inconvenient for a guy like Lewis to have to reopen his recruitment this close to the upcoming season. But that's also the nature of the game, and teams have spots open. Guys jump into the portal. This has been a really active portal window. So I would have to think he had opportunities. But let's not forget he committed to his hometown team, South Florida, out of high school over these other teams anyways. So who knows why he's committing to Louisiana-Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. I guess congratulations to Quannas White. Maybe he'll make that mid-major the next Cinderella story in March next year. But here's the bottom line. I think we all know this with the portal nowadays. There's a good chance Joshua Lewis will be in the portal in a year or at least in 2 years. And hey, if he has success down there, it's probably even more likely that he'll be in the portal. And even some of these mid-major programs have NIL money to spend. It's not real common that you see high major recruits go to mid-major schools like this, but we've seen it on the football side. We saw it happen at Jackson State before Deion Sanders left for Colorado, which of course is an FCS program. Would not be surprised if he's getting a nice little bag to be there, and he looks at this as a stepping stone to getting better offers if he can ball out. That's a great method for kids that maybe they don't really have a ton of NIL interest out there. They have some offers, but they want better offers. Go play for a mid-major, become a star. It's easier said than done, but be a star there, or at least be a double-digit scorer. And here's a guy out of high school that was a good finisher around the rim, good athlete. He's long, great handles, average three-point shot, I thought, when I initially looked at his tape when he initially committed to Iowa. And if you care to listen to my comments on Josh Lewis, you can do it in the corner of the screen. I'll throw that up here in the corner. But just wanted to get everybody an update about a former Iowa commit who decommitted from Iowa when Fran McCaffery was let go. And it appears that Ben McCollum in Iowa not pursuing him, and he's not pursuing Iowa. So that ship sailed. I guess Hawkeye fans that were celebrating the Josh Lewis commitment, it was short-lived. And I even remember saying at the time, like, hey, I wasn't real sure about Fran McCaffery's future. I was questioning his future back at the later stages of non-conference play. We can validate that. Go back and listen to my live shows. We did a show with Gary Close and Jess Settles during the non-conference season after Iowa's lost to Iowa State. And I brought it up to Jess Settles, and Jess kind of shot me down. He didn't think Fran was going anywhere, but hey, it all ended up transpiring. Josh Lewis ends up elsewhere. Best of wishes to him. He'll play for the Raging Cajuns. Quantas White, head coach there for Louisiana-Lafayette. Folks, be sure you give the video a like. Tell me what you think about the commitment. If you have insight into why the former Iowa commit opted to go with Louisiana-Lafayette, let me know, and I'll see you on our next video.